The following presentation showcases an enterprise proof-of-concept app built for a home care provider using AppZone Studio. The presentation will provide a summary of the prospective customer's requirements, an overview of what was delivered and the cost in terms of manpower and effort, and a live demonstration of the app to show the outcome of the project. Home care workers provide support to patients in recovery after they've left hospital and have returned to their own homes. A cross-platform app was required to support the daily duties of these home care workers. Based on discussions with the head of IT at the home care provider, it was decided that the following features were required. The app must display a list of current and upcoming appointments. It must simplify locating patients' homes using location services and mapping. The app must provide a unique door code to enable entry into the patient's home. And it must support an electronic check-in and check-out process to enable more accurate and timely billing for time spent assisting the patient. And finally, it supports the electronic sign-off of a paperless care checklist that describes the type of care required. The implementation also operated against a set of constraints. For example, the app must be device and OS agnostic as it was to be used by home care workers with their own personal devices. The project needed to be delivered within 5 days. And each page and each element within each page should be functional to add realism to the demonstration. Similarly, we used realistic data wherever possible to add greater realism to the demo. The project should be built entirely by one person, and it must be skinnable so that we could reuse it within our organization for other verticals and other prospects. The demonstration also had to be very stable and easy to use because it was to be demonstrated by the head of IT at the home care provider to the CEO and board members. So, for example, the project uses local data as opposed to a remote data source to avoid unforeseen problems with network connectivity and so on. The app included a total of 17 screens. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the app in action. Okay, so you should see the springboard of my iPhone in front of you, and the icon of interest here is the blue Go Enterprise Workspace icon, because this demonstration was built as a managed app, which means that I could update, delete, and control who has access to it centrally via the Go Enterprise Administration Console. So let me tap on the blue icon and launch the workspace. And you can see within the desktop we've got an icon here called Go Care, and that's the application that was built. Single tap should display the splash screen for Go Care, so you've got a branding opportunity here, and then you launch the main menu. The first thing that strikes you on the main menu is you've got notification of the number of appointments today. So as a home care worker, I know I've got 3 appointments today. In the middle of the page we've got a series of options. These are the main options for the application. So we've got today's roster, the jobs that I'm going to be carrying out today as a home care worker, calendar roster, which is today and coming week's work, care checklist, which provides me with a breakdown, a form of all of the individual tasks I need to carry out when I attend a patient's premises. And then we've got this electronic check-in process to log the time you arrive and the time that you leave the patient's property. At the bottom we've got this dynamically updating panel, which on the production system would be fed by an external feed, allowing you to interact with your staff. At the top right we've got access to a toolbox, which are a series of utilities. So we've got a call page, an SMS page, a help page, and an ideas feedback form page. All have been implemented. For example, the call page enables you to, if I just tap on that, dial up individual patients if you're running late, for example, and notify them of your whereabouts. If I tap on Yad's name there, for example, you can see it launches the dial screen. And the same is true for the SMS. It will launch the SMS page for the operating system. The help page is self-explanatory, and the ideas form is simply feedback on either the application or on the services that you're offering. So going back to the main menu, the first main option that we're going to have a look at now is the calendar roster. You can see you're presented with a calendar at the top here. Dots underneath a number, a date, specific date, represent that there are jobs assigned for you on that day. So on the 8th and 9th I see I've got work. I've got 7 jobs lined up for tomorrow, and today I have got 4 jobs lined up. If I tap on the individual's name underneath, It provides me with more information on the type of care, their address, and so on. Next, let's look at today's roster. The first thing you'll notice on the today's roster screen is the map at the top half of the page. It uses location services to plot a point on the map where you currently are. So it's a live map using the Google Maps API. You can change the format of the map by hitting satellite, and you can pinch to zoom in. So you can really get a good idea of where you are and where the patients are. In the bottom part of the screen, you can see the names and the care type of all the different patients that will require home care today and the time you've got to be there. So if I clicked on Ruchi, that's where he is, that's where I've got to get to. And if I click on Sanjay, it's giving me his information, and that's Yad's location, Dave, and so on. So if I click on Craig Tunstall, and if you tap on the map on the name of the patient, then it gives you their address, actual postal address, which is 41 Lothbury in London. If I hit the directions button, you can actually see it displays another map with a point A where I currently am, point B, the destination, and it gives me step-by-step directions, all powered by Google Maps API. So I can see that I can get to this patient in 1 minute if I walk. Another nice feature of this solution is that you can also zoom in, drag Street View, and then you can get even more information on how to get to the patient's address. So it's a very powerful solution, implemented very easily. So let's close down Street View and take it back to the normal map display. And let's go to the main menu and look at the three-step check-in process. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a special process. The first thing you do is select the care recipient. That returns information on their address, the date, and the care that they require. It also gives you their unique door code so you can enter their premises and provide care. You then enter the premises and use the barcode scanner to scan a barcode that they will have on the wall somewhere to validate that you've attended their premises. And then once you've done that, you can hit the validate button, and it will then submit all of your information to a central server. So it would also log your longitude and latitude, so you can't steal the QR code and then sit at home and then fraudulently claim that you provided that care, as it's logging your location and your time when you actually carried out the care. Let's look at the care checklist now. The care checklist is going to provide you with a form. Let's select Ruchi, and that's his address, verify that's the right one, yep. And it provides you with the customized care that Ruchi requires in his home on that particular date, and then you check it off as you go. Previously this was a paper-based process which was laborious, and I'm just showcasing the various user interface elements you can have within the solution. And then I get Ruchi to sign off using a stylus onto the mobile device the work that I've carried out, and that's stored electronically and can be submitted back to the server. The signature file can be stored and then later retrieved as evidence. And that concludes the demonstration of the GoCare application. I hope it's provided a little bit more insight into the work that was carried out, and I'll leave you with some screens of the other skin for this project. Thank you.